Hello 120, Section 2. This is exciting. It's my first video for you this semester, and there are so many tools put in place for us in 3.0 that I hope you hear my voice a lot, and I hope to hear your voice a lot. We have options to give audio feedback, and I think you also have an option to send me some audio feedback with your assignments. So that's just going to make it even more personalized this semester. I'm excited about that. I wanted to go over a couple of things before we go into Lesson 2 and some expectations. One, make sure that you occasionally click on My Home at the top here so that you can go to the announcements section. You're seeing announcements for me right here as an instructor, but it's similar to yours, only yours will have some due dates over here. So this is an important thing for you to do. So you would select your course and then click on the course, and when you do, you will see a calendar of upcoming assignments that are due, and you will see the latest announcements from me. And every week I will mix this up a little bit. Right now you can see a couple of announcements that I gave for Lesson 1 to help us get started, and the Read Me First. You can also see the Lesson 1 notes from me, and if you were to go to Show All News Items, you would even be able to see Lesson 2. The reason I do that is because you are able to work ahead 1 week ahead all semester long in case you have to be out of town or whatever. And so I will always have those notes for the lesson that is coming up the next week. So you can see here are my notes for Lesson 2. On Saturday I will bump these up to the top, so it'll be the first thing that you see when you log in. I'm just hoping that every once in a while you will think about going to the home page here so that you can see announcements from me. So the course content, of course, is here, and let's see. So I don't have the top of my screen showing, but just know that you can create a new tab and always keep the announcements section up at the same time as keeping the actual lesson that you're working on up, if that makes sense to you. So if I were you, I'd keep the two browsers open all the time so that you can just quickly click over here, see what the new announcements are, and then get back into your course content. So let's go to the Content tab. I want to show you some items for Lesson 2 that have given a concern to students in semesters past. So we get to our activities, and we have an assignment for organizing files. If you click on 202, you can see this assignment and the assignment instructions. Okay, so we have a bunch of documents here, and we're going to organize them into folders. So you pretend that a client hired you to research 3 generations of the Hammond family, and there's David, Margaret, and their son Henry Albert Fountain. Okay, so Margaret's son. So while conducting your research, you find the following significant documents, and now you are going to organize them. The most important thing for this assignment is not really how you organize the folders, because that's the whole point. We're learning what we like and how we would like to organize our folders. The important part of the assignment is that you follow the instructions and organize these in a good way. So let me show you. I went back to my announcements for Lesson 2, and I have some required formatting and clarifications for you. You will see these from time to time, and until we get them built into the course, it's important for you to take note. It makes grading so much easier, and it will also make sure that you get full credit for the assignments that have the required formatting and clarifications. what happens is there are some instructions in this course that are so detailed, maybe sometimes 2 paragraphs long, and they're not formatted in bullets, so it's difficult for you to know everything that is required. And so I will come along and create some clarifications for you each week for those assignments, as well as some suggested formatting. And you know, I probably won't dock you down for formatting, but I might if it takes me a long time to find out if you have put everything in the assignment. For instance, this is a very simple assignment. You only have 2 questions to answer. How would you digitally organize the folders and documents for this project? And 2, why would you organize them that way? If you put all the questions this semester with each of your assignments in your submission, then I will be able to see that you have answered all the questions, if that makes sense. For instance, you would tell me how you would organize them, and then why you would organize them that way. And so when you're showing me how you're going to organize these, it's important that you put them in order. And the instructions ask you to put them in order, but we still have some students every semester who don't. But this will make it very, very easy for me to grade if you label them document 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then show me the path. And I know that can be confusing for you when you're trying to figure out how you would create a path for these documents, but it's really important for you as a student to put these in order, because the instructions do ask you to do that, and I will dock you if they're not in order. So let's come back to that assignment and take a look. A page of a church register from, and I can't pronounce this, in Ireland, documenting the 1832 marriage of David Hammond and Isabel Maxwell. Okay, so how would you organize that? If you're going to create a folder for this family, what will be the title of that folder? Will you call it Hammond or Hammond Family or whatever? And where will you store that folder? Will you store it in My Documents, and then in a folder called Genealogy, or a folder called Family History, or a folder called Clients? So I brought up a document here so we can play with this a little bit. Maybe, and I don't care if you put My Documents on here or not, or whatever main folder you have for your documents. I don't care if you do that or don't do that, but I might have a folder called Clients. And then I'm going to use the this, whatever you want to call that, crow's foot, to suggest that inside the Client folder I might have a folder called Johnson for my Johnston family that I'm researching. And inside the Johnston folder, I might have a folder inside of that for each of the people in the Johnston family that I'm researching. So maybe I will have a folder for Henry. And then inside Henry's folder, I might have a marriage certificate for him and for his spouse. And then I might put the name of that. Now, you're taught in this lesson that you should use file names that are that represent everything about the document and that will stand alone, so that if you're doing a search on your computer, you can type in a few keywords like Henry Johnson marriage and it will come up. Does that make sense? And so it doesn't matter really how you name this, but in this case I'm just going to put Henry Johnston. Boy, it's because I'm on video that I can't spell. Henry Johnson and Mary Evans, and then I might say 1812 marriage. And some people even go so far as to add the place in the title, and that's up to you. Just whatever you feel like you can type in here so that there are enough keywords in your document that you can find it again. And of course this would be a JPEG, so you don't have to put JPEG on here for my benefit, because I will know that it's a document. But anyway, so this would be the name of the JPEG or the picture, Henry Johnson and Mary Evans 1812 marriage, and it's going to be in the Henry folder, which is inside the Johnston folder, which is inside the client folder. Then I might find something else for Henry. I might find his, I might find his death. And so it would be the same path, and I won't take time to write it here, but you got those three little things there. And when you get to the document itself, it would be Henry Johnston, 1892 death. And I might put Cook County, something like that, so that I have a full file name here. So what happens with students when they do this assignment is that they see these little crow's feet and they misunderstand what they mean, maybe, or what they're supposed to do with them. And sometimes the very last end of the crow's foot in their assignment, will say something like Henry, and then everything else that's detailed about him will be in front of it. Like, I don't understand, what they're thinking, but I just know that this is the reason I'm creating this video, is to help you understand that this is going from the largest to the smallest. It starts with a big folder, just as if you were organizing it as in your home with actual files. And then another big folder, and the folders get smaller, and then there are documents inside here. Now in the lesson it talks about pause while I think of the word. The advantage that you would have of starting your file name with the year. So you might start it with 1892 and say Henry Johnston death, Cook County, Illinois. And the reason that would be is that inside your folder, inside this Henry folder, the whole timeline of Henry's life would be in order of this date. So his marriage would be up here, his birth would be up here, which is really cool. But that's totally up to you if you decide to organize your assignment that way. So going back to the assignment, it's the same scenario. You're going to name a folder where you're going to keep these documents. You're going to have a smaller folder inside that just for this information, and then maybe a folder inside that. It's just totally up to you. You don't want to really get too many folders, electronic folders. Just think to yourself that later on you could come back and divide documents if you had to, and create smaller folders. But because it's electronic, it's just very easy to search for something as long as you have titled your document with enough keywords so that you can do a search on that document on your computer, if that makes sense. So this is a really fun assignment. Mostly I'm not going to be looking too much at your file path, but you do need to put your file path. So you will need to show me this file path. And I'm also going to be looking at the name of your document. So the very last part of the file path, whatever I see here, is going to be the name of your document. The name of your document is not going to be up here somewhere, right? So whatever I see in the name of this document is also important for me, because I will be grading you on the reading and what you learned about standalone file names. A document that stands alone that you should be able to find without having to actually physically go to the Johnston or the Henry Johnston folder. Okay, so hopefully that helps you with this assignment. And then I will also be grading on whether or not I can see this information in your file path should match number 1. Does that make sense? So they need to be in order. They need to be in order. And I know that that's a little confusing. You'll just have to think about it. You may have to come back after you start this assignment and change something in here so that it makes sense to you. But you're going to say how you would digitally organize those. And here it is, right? I think I actually put this in here. So that's nice. It's in my notes and it's also here. And then you would tell why you would organize them that way. So that is Assignment 202. Every week your quizzes will be based on the activities and the terms and definitions. So I just wanted to make